Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Straight Talk with your host Firas Al Masadi. This time I'm going to be addressing a really interesting question that came from John, one of our audience, and I think it is in fact a question that is in the mind of many of those who are interested in Dubai real estate market. So John's asking, why do you think now is the right time to invest in a property, knowing that things could get a lot worse as time passes and tenants are becoming more and more aggressive with their landlords demanding lower rent prices as competition is growing? I think it's an excellent question. Let me start by first exploring with you what else can we do in order for us to generate passive income in today's market. We all know that many industries and many businesses are suffering. We all know that many business owners are actually funding their businesses in order for them to overcome and to weather out the COVID-19 without actually having to close down completely. So it's really tough time, and today the options are very limited in order for us to generate passive income. Would I be looking at a stock market that became almost like a cryptocurrency, which based on the supply and the demand only? I see a conglomerate that's doing really bad in reality, whereas the share prices of the same is actually increasing. So just for me at my personal capacity, I will only invest in what I can control, and I don't think that the stock market is something that many people understand. I think 99% in fact of the people don't really understand how the stock market works, even if it's explained to them in fact. Definitely that leaves me with real estate as the safest way in order for me to generate passive income. Now, when it comes to the real estate, and to address your question exactly, I'm worried about two things basically. I'm worried about prices that are going to drop further under the current COVID-19 situation as it gets worse maybe. And number two, the occupancy level and the rental income coming from my properties. Let me tell you first, address first the price resilience in Dubai. I think it's something that I addressed in the previous video, but I'll recap on it very quickly. We are not in a real estate recession. Real estate got impacted the least out of all other industries, I think, with the exception of those industries that were actually winners in the COVID-19, such as the sanitization businesses and what so have you. Two facts that proves the price resilience of Dubai real estate market. Number one, we arrived to the COVID-19 with 6 years price low. So prices have been softening in Dubai since the end of 2014. Real estate prices did not get a big hit when the COVID-19 broke out. And number two, the confidence of the central bank. 2009 was a year where the central bank stopped lending people, stopped mortgages in Dubai completely, or almost completely. They lost their confidence in the price value because prices were off the roof, and 2009 was a mortgage bubble, was a real estate bubble. But 2020 is not. And hence, the central bank shows so much confidence by way of telling people, I will lend you more today. I'm ready to give you up to 80% of the value of any property you choose. In fact, I think for locals, it goes up to 85%, and in some cases even to 90%. It's because the central bank and banks understand very well the value against the dollar offered in the Dubai real estate market today. So that's to do with the price resilience. Let's talk now about the occupancy and the rent resilience as well. I think let's forget the rest of the market. Let's just talk about what's in it for you as an investor to enter the Dubai real estate market today. Even if 90%, because people are worried about the occupancy, the supply and demand, which has been actually the case in Dubai for over a decade now. But if you do your due diligence and you make well-educated decisions, and you acquire properties that are among the top 10% supply of Dubai real estate market, you cannot not be a winner. Because even if 90% of buyers and tenants go out of Dubai real estate market, the remaining 10% will go to the best and to the top 10% supply. So you don't have to worry about the occupancy. You don't have to look at the examples of people who made decisions that were not really well thought of and compare yourself to them. Maybe someone bought a property that is just an average property or a standard property 1 year or 2 years back. They're not doing so well today. But believe me, throughout the past 10 years, whoever bought a prime unit, and I'm saying prime unit in a prime project, these properties will always perform. I've seen it over and over again. You would rarely see me talking about a particular project and advising people to invest in a particular project in Dubai. But the last time I did that was in 2019, last year, 2018, when I advised people to jump into Blue Waters and to buy units with full sea view and Dubai Eye view. And you would see that 2018 to 2019, prices went down by probably 5%, where prices for these special units went up by 15 and 20%. And this is just a fact that you can see out of the transactions that you can check on Dubai Land Department's website or on www.property-trends.com. Why investing now? I think people who invested in 2010, early 2010 during the previous recession, no one knows. If you're looking for an answer from me or from anyone else to tell you that this is the bottom, even in 10 months, even in 6 months, even in 1 year, there's no way for us to realize when the bottom is, because in my humble opinion, the only time I know that we're bottoming out is the time we see that we're starting to move up. And the minute we start to move up and you see the market going up, landlords, sellers, developers are gonna see the same, and they're gonna talk to you in a different tone. They're gonna give you different offers, and they're gonna always have this in their mind. Let me wait a little bit more in order for me to get more and to get better prices. Now, let's zoom out. Why and when would real estate prices in Dubai go down further? Trust me, I think if the real estate market in Dubai will go down 5% further, it means the overall situation of the global economy has to go down 15% further. Down, I'm saying. So, yes, it might get worse for real estate, but it will only get worse for real estate if it got much worse when it comes to the global financial system and to the overall economy. I think going into tangible assets such as real estate that generates passive income that you can understand. I mean, I look at the sheet that you sent me, the Excel sheet that you sent me, and it's very, very, very well put together. And I think real estate is something that is very easy to understand once people put enough time and effort. And I can tell you, John, you have a great edge over many other investors because you're taking your time, or you took your time already, and you are making very well educated decisions. You're counting every penny when it comes to your costs, your expenses, and your income. You're factoring your risk. You're asking the right questions. You've attended a course on real estate. So you cannot, I think, go wrong with all of this education and knowledge that you've gathered as an investor. You cannot go wrong. I really think that today is a very, very good entry point to the real estate market in every way, shape, and form. People who invested in 2009, they did not know three things. They didn't know whether prices will continue to drop or not. They didn't know when will the prices go back up exactly, and they didn't know why will the prices go up again. But they knew that they had the financial capability. They knew that the market is down and they're getting great value for their money. And of course, they knew that anything comes down will have to recover, I think, sooner or later. Yes, we don't know when it will start recovering on the short term or the medium term, but we know on the long term, everything will recover. And I think real estate will outperform everything. It's one of the most fundamental necessity of living. It's something that you're investing in with your eyes closed, that you don't have to worry about the technology disrupting it. At least for now, we don't see people going to live soon on the moon. So the second question, John, I've created the Excel sheet. I think I've done very, very minor changes, to be honest. It's almost perfect. There's always like they say, room for improvement, but I think it's amazing what you did. Impressive. I will email you back on this. The third question, do you have any preferred areas to buy properties in Dubai? Like I said, you would rarely see me advertising or promoting a particular unit or a project. I will be emailing you some options because I need to understand a little bit more about your preferences, your budget, and what so have you. But I would say in general, for people who are looking at, I would say below 600,000 dirhams property, they should be looking at probably the outer of Dubai. Maybe you look at areas like Jumeirah Village that has some really good projects. You have to be very careful and selective when you go to the outer of Dubai because almost all projects look the same from the outside. There is no major attraction like when you look at the center of Dubai. So you really have to be very selective in what project, and you have to, seeing is believing. You have to make sure that it has the right quality, it's durable, because the biggest problem when you go to the outer side of any city is the quality of building. So you just have to make sure that you have to get a good quality if you go below 600,000 dirhams. Now, if you have a budget, I would say 600 to 1 million, 1.2 million dirhams, two areas that you have to look at. One is Business Bay and the other one is Dubai Marina. These two areas offer good passive income. Above 2 million, above 2.2 million, I would say 1.5 million and above, for sure, eyes closed. I don't need to even think about it. get a great deal in City Walk. City Walk is the only low-rise modern community in Dubai. It has only 1,600 units that actually exists between, or is located between downtown Dubai Mall, Burj Khalifa on one side, and the Jumeirah Beach on the other side. I've actually released, or I filmed a video that I'll be releasing very soon on the top 3 undersupplied real estate projects in Dubai. I hope that you would enjoy watching that video. And like I said, I'll email you some options. Again, John, thank you very much for sharing this question. It's been really enlightening for so many people who are watching this video now. Stay tuned for many more to come. You're watching Straight Talk with your host, Firas Al Masaddi.